You know what I've realized too, speaking of comedy, like talking about comedy, is that now Drew and I will be talking about important things or interesting things for comedy, and we'll go, oh, write it down. We got to talk about it on the podcast.
Literally,
people want to hear about this.
We were driving over to the studio today, and we're like, no, stop talking.
Stop.
Don't get into it. Yeah.
Welcome to the Love and Comedy Podcast, where two stand-up comics talk pursuing love while pursuing a career in stand-up comedy. Twist, your comedian host, happen to be married. I'm one of your hosts, Aurora Singh.
And I'm your other host, Drew Shafer.
I'm the wife.
I'm the husband. It sounded like why did I go twangy?
I don't know.
And I'm the husband who's got the truck.
Oh,
okay.
God.
This is going to be a weird episode. We are recording live.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're not live, but we are alive.
We are alive.
We are alive. Where are we?
At the Comedy Spot Studios in Sacramento.
Sacramento Comedy Spot. Thanks, you guys, for letting us use your studio. My God, look at us stuffing it up.
We look so much nicer on
here. I know. If you get a chance, if you're listening to this, you are missing out. We look so fantastic. We have like a nicer camera. And it's the same speaker. It's the same mics.
Yeah,
we couldn't figure out how to set up the mics.
Yeah. But the Comedy Spot is Sacramento's improv, sketch, and comedy destination.
And they were nice enough to support us and let us use their studio. So
a nonprofit. So
yes.
That's pretty cool too.
Come to their shows. They're so good. And they're such good people.
I like that he didn't ask us to do this, but we're going
to do it. Absolutely. Yeah, we can't. We love Brian, who runs and owns this place. So
it's so cool. Anyway, our theme today, we're going to cover some of our listener questions. What?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, because at the end of every episode, we always say, send us your questions. We want to know what you're asking. And like some of them are like comedy questions that we're going to dive into at some point. And some are just so much fun that we're like, okay, like let's answer these questions.
Yeah, we just like needed to dive in.
Like a grab bag episode of just like, yeah, these are fun. Let's show our personality a little bit with some answers. The
only thing is that I'm a little sad because there's so many good questions.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's no way we're going to cover all of them. So, but this is just the little tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
And you will hear some of these questions again with future guests.
Definitely, yeah.
Because they're so good. We want to hear like different perspectives and experiences and opinions. Sure. So this is just Drew and I answering listeners' questions.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
But yeah, I'm excited. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's
dive in.
Let's get started.
All right. Our first question today. This one comes from Abby.
Okay, and this is like a fun question. It's not specific to comedy or love. It's just fun.
It's a fun question. It's like one of those party questions. Like how do I get to know you? And this is the question.
Yeah, I think it's called an icebreaker.
Icebreaker? Yeah. Imagine with global warming someday that's going to be like a sad way to say. They're going to be
like, what's ice?
Yeah, they're going to be like, what's ice?
It's going to be offensive. That's for a different podcast. Anyways.
All right, listen to my other podcast. The last time it was the Alpha. Now it's going to be my environmental podcast, Save the Polar Bears, with Paul. I don't know. I was just going to do peas. Protect the polar bears.
All right. That was so creative. Dumb. No, that was so creative.
Speaking of creative, our first question is, what actor would play you in a movie?
Okay. I did not think of an answer. Also, who's the question by?
It's by Abby. I said that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Sorry, I am waiting for my coffee to kick in. I'm so sorry. Abby, thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Okay. My answer is one that I didn't think of too hard, and I can't remember her name.
Oh.
Wow.
Janelle James?
No. From The Good Place? What's her name?
Jamil?
No, that's...
We have to edit around this.
Oh, no. My answer is her from The Good Place. Or Twist. Oh, you know who would be really good?
Yeah, Jamila Jamil.
Oh, Jamila Jamil?
Jamila Jamil.
Okay, if you're watching this, I'll figure out how to put a picture of her up.
Yeah.
But Jamila Jamil, she is so funny. She's tall. She's beautiful. She's Indian.
Yep.
She's British?
She is British.
Okay.
Yeah. She is.
Yeah. So I would love for her to play me in a movie because I think she could get like the comedic timing right.
Oh yeah.
Of my personality.
For sure.
And also like my hotness.
There is no
Also,
ego in this relationship because you have it all.
And I assume that I would look like her if I had bangs.
I could see that.
You think so?
I can see it. I'm looking at a picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll put one somewhere.
Drew will figure out how to edit that in.
Yeah. Tech guy for the win.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that would be good. And then what?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I was going to ask you to keep with yours. What part of your life would you want made into a movie?
Oh, yes. This is a good piggyback question. I would want the story of like all of my exes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's just dating through the exes and these things keep happening?
Yeah, exactly.
I could see that as a rom-com.
A rom-com movie or like a series, you think?
I think a movie.
A movie?
I think when you have like a definite like 3 acts and then a good happy conclusion, I think that's sort of like that's a movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Versus a TV show, like if you were dating 100 people and they all kept having unfortunate incidences.
I could also see it as like a comedy show, like a series.
Yeah.
And have 3 seasons on each ex.
Oh wow.
You see what I'm saying?
You'd give a season to each of your exes?
Yeah.
That's some love. That's some I feel a little jealous.
No, that's some pettiness. I want to show how terrible each one was.
Every single, yeah.
Yeah, I want every detail.
They might have just cheated on you once, but you're going to show like 13 episodes of them slowly emotionally cheating, then physically, then lying to you, breaking up with you, you finding out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm actually pitching this pretty well.
That's what I'm saying.
Episode 6 is the episode where they break it to you that they have been cheating on you.
Yeah.
And then 7's when...
And then the finale is when I find out the bad things happen to him.
Yeah.
Because something bad happens to each of my exes.
And then, the cliffhanger every season's like... It's almost like Dexter. Like, is she going to get caught by the police this season?
And I never do.
Or like you on Netflix. Like it's always like, I'll wrap
Don't give it away. Don't give any spoilers.
No. Watch You on Netflix.
Listen to this podcast first. But
listen to us while you watch You. We're gonna turn into a You review podcast.
Okay, who's your celebrity?
So mine, I know he's not famous enough, but I'll say some of his roles so people know. Jack McBrayer. No idea.
No clue.
He played Kenneth on 30 Rock. Kenneth the Page. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes.
I've been compared
100%.
to him so much. Like on stage and in real life, I'm very like kind of naive and sweet and innocent. Grew up in a smaller town, sheltered. And like he brings that energy in every movie and TV show I've seen him in. Forgetting Sarah Marshall's my favorite movie. And
who was he in Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
He literally plays a newlywed on his honeymoon with his wife, and he's never had sex before.
Wait, is that when he's married to Flo from Progressive?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, no, she's not in that one. There's somebody who looks like
something.
Flo.
She's in something though, in one of those beach retreat married movies.
She's in The Heartbreak Kid with Ben Stiller. Yeah,
there's a different one.
Okay,
there's a different one I'm thinking of when she's on. Maybe it's that one. I don't really know.
In Mexico, The Heartbreak Kid, she's in that one for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, so in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, just married, never had sex, all that. And he's like trying to learn how to have sex with his wife, who's obviously had it before and is like promiscuous. And Russell Brand's like showing him moves and stuff like that.
Okay, so what part of your life would they make into a movie with this guy from 30 Rock? What's his name?
Jack McBrayer.
Jack McBrayer.
And I think honestly, like the most interesting time of my life might have been when I was a teacher. Like it was only a year and a half, but I feel like there's so many adventures and misadventures, whether it was me drunk teaching or the kids being mean to me and me roasting them, or like just in general, like
just like your sweet innocence, your
like,
optimism. He would play that.
He would play it so well, like showing up like over eager. Yeah.
Is he too old?
I mean,
is he too old now?
He's getting too old now. Yeah, probably.
To be your 21-year-old.
Yeah, he couldn't play me at that point. Like if we had him when he was 21, he would be
oh
a
my
perfect
God,
fit.
so perfect.
Like showing up optimistic for the future of education. Like, oh my God, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to make it so much better. And just seeing it like go down the shitter, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I think he would play me so well. And like,
I think that's a good fit.
If he ever like commits a murder or something and needs somebody to play him in the docuseries, me.
You know what's wild?
What?
Is like that. So like your guy, what's his name?
Jack McBrayer.
I'm terrible with names.
That's okay.
And my girl, Jamil.
Yeah, Jamila Jamil.
Jamila,
Yeah.
Jamil,
Yeah.
and Jack Breyer.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Breyer or Breyer. Yeah, I'm like,
so would they
he's
ever
gonna listen and be like, I was gonna play you, but
so
now
like here's what I'm saying. Picturing both of them together in a marriage.
that'd be interesting.
That's what people probably think of us.
I mean, I can see
Holy
that. Yeah,
shit.
like when you put it that way. Yeah. Like we had people on Instagram, we were like, who would play us? And like the combinations, I'm like, that would be very interesting.
Yeah, in a marriage,
Yeah.
right? Like you think about, like, I can't imagine them getting married.
No. Somebody said Jessica Williams, the girl from Two Dope Queens,
Yeah.
would be you. And
Yeah.
I would be Chris Gethard.
Uh-huh.
And he's very like, he did a whole like comedy special about suicide. And he's very like awkward. And he does a lot of characters that are awkward. And it's like looking at those two, I'm like, that would be hilarious to watch.
Hilarious to watch them in like a rom-com.
In a rom-com, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, that's us.
That's us.
So when people see us, it's like, that's what they're imagining. They're like, Aurora, who's this? Like,
and they're trying to make sense of it.
It doesn't make sense.
Because I was always trying to think of like what would make, like what do people think when they see us?
Yeah.
And I'm like, do they see us as Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson? But I'm like, there's no way that they see us as that.
Wait, I just want this to be the clip. Just Aurora calls through Pete Davidson. Yeah. I mean, I got that BDE.
What is, oh, BD. I almost said what is.
BDE.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big energy. Big energy.
Big energy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
no,
what
I just feel like I've been trying to like picture it so I can understand people's like confusion or curiosity.
Yeah.
But now I get it. Like
Now you get
picturing these two crazy different characters.
It's like these personalities do not belong together. How?
No, they don't.
And so that's
They don't.
That's what people see.
We don't.
We don't.
God, that was so dark.
That's yeah.
I didn't mean that.
I want to like just play that with like it goes like black and white and then like slow and pause.
Yeah.
This was the moment, everybody.
Oh, well, that's hilarious. I would watch that movie.
I would watch, yeah.
Jamila and the white
Jack,
guy.
Yeah. Wow. Canceled.
I feel like that's fitting for us too. Like it's like Aurora and her husband.
Wow. Right? Yeah, sure. Okay.
All right. So we honestly got a lot of questions about comedy.
Yeah, so many more about comedy than love, which, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. We're comedians.
Yeah, we're not known for being relationship experts. Hopefully not.
We just are by experience.
Yeah.
So, but we did get a couple questions for love.
Okay.
So our first one comes from Ben Rice.
Yeah.
Who is a comic, show producer. What is he like? What was his thing he likes to be called?
What, the pod median?
Oh, no.
The podducer?
So he hosts 2 podcasts.
Yes.
He also is a comic.
Yes.
He also is married to a comic.
Yes.
He also, I don't know why I'm saying all his credits right now. He's going to be on the podcast.
Yeah, he's going to be on. Yeah, we're going to have him and his wife on an episode. Yeah.
Anyways, Ben Rice asks, oh, hold on. My thing went away. Ben Rice asks, how long until this path divides you against each other, or has it already happened?
Ooh, drama.
And I'm assuming he's referring to the podcast because he did respond to our Instagram. So it's about the podcast. Like
I think he means like comedy.
Oh, comedy.
Yeah, I think he means like obviously with him and his wife also both being stand-up comedians. Like how long until both of us pursuing stand-up comedy divides us against each other?
Well, how am I supposed to predict the future?
I mean, but yeah, like that's what the question is. Like, do you think that's something, like, could there be something that happens? Like, if you suddenly got a Netflix special, you were on the Late Show, and I was still just doing open mics and bar shows. Like,
okay, well, you answer first.
Since, now that I'm going down there, like, would that divide us? I don't think so. I think the only way it would divide us is if, like, one of us was working our tail off and the other wasn't. And then the one who wasn't working was just like, oh, well, you're going to be on Netflix. So can you like just introduce me to everybody and get me a spot and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you haven't written a new joke in 5 years.
Yeah.
Why would I take you with me? Like, Yeah, if one of us was just trying to literally ride the coattails without doing any of the work, I think that would be like, for me.
Yeah, that would be tough to carry the other without the other person like just dead weight.
Yeah. And it's like, that would be where, for me, I'd be like, oh, it's like an awkward conversation. Like if one of us was wildly funny and the other wasn't, like, I know some comedians where like they're married to somebody not as funny as they are. And it's like, ooh,
say their names.
No, I don't want to. But it's like, yeah, at that point, like, I don't think I could find it in my conscience to be like, yeah, I'm going to bring you with me on the road and you're going to do all this and I'm going to pretend you're as good as me, or like vice versa. I don't think
it would be
either.
A very awkward conversation.
Yeah.
And that would probably be the end of it, right? But that's like hopefully something you would figure out way before you got married and started a podcast.
I feel like, yeah, both of us have been working hard. We're both like at a similar point, just in different outcomes, but like both of us comfortably, if tomorrow or like right now somebody's like, hey, can you go do 30 minutes? We'd be like, yeah, what's up? Where?
Yeah, and we could bring the other person in confidently.
Yeah, like both of us know that.
So on the trajectory that we're on, I would agree. God, this is such a boring conversation because it's boring when we agree.
It is. We need some controversy.
But I do agree that like at this point in the conversation, like where we are in our trajectory, I don't see it being divisive. Like I don't see the podcast being divisive. I don't see our careers being divisive because there are like ebbs and flows to our careers.
Yeah.
And there's points where you are doing better than me. And there's points where I'm doing better than you. And I feel like we just keep, like, we're just, you know, we just talked about this on the last episode. Like we're competitive, but like if one of us is doing better, the other person's like, okay, shoot, I need to put in more work. Yeah. And the person that's doing better is like, come on, let's go. Let's catch up.
Oh, for sure.
Because I don't think either of us want to have that conversation of like, you need to pick up the slack. So we're like, come on, put it like, let's do something, bud.
It does make me think of that one time when we were driving to one of your shows. You were driving and you were like freaking out. You're like, I'm not funny. I was like, what, do you think I would be with you if you weren't funny?
Oh my.
And like, I was trying to say it as like like I'm being supportive and like pumping you up. And then all you took it as was,
I was like, oh, so if I'm not funny tonight, then you won't be with me.
Yeah. I was like, no. I was like, why? How did you take it there?
You were like, how did you figure that
out? She saw through it. I was trying so hard and she just saw right through it.
But I think we'll be fine.
Yeah.
I feel like we're both so stubborn and passionate about what we do. It's like we're passionate, but we're also stubborn. Like if we weren't stubborn, if comedians weren't stubborn, there's no way that they would be where they're at. Because like they're like, well, I'm just gonna do better the next time.
Stubborn and a little delusional. Yeah. And like I even remember like maybe 4 or 5 years ago we talked about it. We're like, if we're not somewhere in comedy by 30, let's quit. And now 32 and 31, I'm like,
and we're still nowhere and we're still doing it.
Yeah, we're like still aggressively pursuing it. Like losing money sometimes just to do a show somewhere.
Not as much though.
Not as much.
We've gotten so much. We are very fortunate that we have been put into this position where we can start making.
Exactly.
You know, we're not losing as much. But in the beginning, holy moly.
You lose so much.
It's so like people don't realize. Yeah. You don't realize it.
Yeah, you don't realize it. You're like, oh, I have to drive 2 hours to do this open mic to see the right people who will book me.
Not even a show.
It's like, for us being in Sacramento, people are like we run into people from the Bay at shows and they're like, oh, I've never seen you before. It's like, I'm not going to drive 2 hours to do a free open mic that has 5 people in the audience, maybe. Like,
you just get to a point where it's just not. You just can't.
Yeah, at
and
some
you
point,
don't have to, right?
Early on, you got to take those risks just to meet a new audience and all that stuff. But now, no.
No, that's so wild. So I'm glad that we agree on that. What's the other question? I can't remember. Oh, I have it. Oh, and also we should mention, has it already happened?
What's that?
Where we've like gotten upset over like comedy or anything, and I'm gonna say absolutely yes. Yeah. We talked.
Should I say no just to cause drama? No, we are perfect.
Yeah, we're perfect.
We've never fought over anything. I don't
remember if did we mention in our first episode what happened the last 2 times.
I think so. Somebody was like, "Hey, it's so interesting. You guys said this is your 3rd time trying to podcast."
Yeah,
so I'm like, okay.
So that's the example. Is that this is the 3rd time, and the other 2 is almost devastated
broke us up both times. Yeah.
And speaking of almost breaking up, we've almost broken up multiple times.
Yeah.
How many times have we moved? I would say at least 8 times we've moved.
Yeah.
And I would say every single time.
7 of the 8 we've almost broken up.
7 of the 8.
The only time was when we hired a moving company. That's the lesson.
But literally, like, it was 7 out of the 8. You and I were like, this isn't gonna work out.
Yeah, I think it's so healthy to have that moment of like, this could be over. It's like a car sale, when they're like, you have the power to walk away, and they will try harder.
You always have the power to walk away, right? And I think 7 out of 8 times we're like, we're done.
Yeah.
And then we just
holding a box that I think belongs in the kitchen, you think should go in the bedroom, and we're just like, no.
How did we handle that? Aurora does all the unpacking.
Yeah, it's a good solution, everybody.
Our next question is from Rory.
Yay, Rory.
She says she wants to know, do you think you would be together if neither of you did stand up, or if only one did?
Ooh.
What?
Wow. Let's start with neither. Let's both have our perspective on neither, and then do one if only one of us did.
Okay, so if neither of us did stand up, do you think we would still be together?
Now, I want to do it from 2 perspectives. Number 1 perspective, if neither of us did stand-up comedy, there's no way in hell we would have met. So I'll start with that.
Oh, okay. No, that's true.
What social circles did we share? What activities did we share? Like, there was nothing that we would have bumped into each other. Like,
no.
I knew one of your friends from a charity speed dating thing I went to in college.
You didn't know her, though.
I mean, yeah, I met her, and then, then my friend who was with me threw away my card, so I didn't get any of the phone numbers because he didn't want me to get the girl he liked.
All right. Well,
yeah,
relax.
F him. He threw away my card, and then, yeah.
I'm sorry. Are you upset that didn't work out with my friend?
Yeah, I'm so upset with your friend, yeah. How things would have been different. I'm sure the podcast with her would have been so different.
Yeah, it would have been about running. You guys would have been sweaty.
We would have just,
Ew.
Ew. Could you imagine a podcast where you run and podcast the whole time?
That sounds disgusting. Honestly, that sounds so gross.
The next episode, we'll
I'll
remote
be driving
in.
the car.
Yeah, we'll be remoting in, and I'll just okay. Sorry. Jeez. So if neither of us did
the digression, you thought about my friend and you just digressed.
I had to go down that road.
Okay, so what is it?
So if neither of us had ever done it, no, we wouldn't have met. If right now we decided, we're not doing stand up anymore, I think at this point, we know more about each other and love each other enough that we'd still be together.
I think it would definitely be something to navigate through.
Yeah.
But what about
what then becomes our healthy outlet for stress and having fun? Like, that's where it's like, yeah, we would have to figure it out. Like,
I think one thing that we both like really admire about the other is the like passion and work ethic, right? Mm-hmm. So like if we didn't do stand up, where would we put our passion and like effort? That would be because like I am attracted to someone who's like goal driven, working hard, constantly improving themselves. Ambitious. That's
why I have that joke. Yeah. Your ambition is admirable. is my pickup line.
Yeah. So it's like that's why I think if we didn't do stand up, it would have to be something else.
It would have to be something else.
Have to be. Yeah.
Like fitness or travel.
Going back to school, getting
something,
degrees, like I don't know what maybe that's an unhealthy trait, but that's like what I like. And I like to be that person as well.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
If we didn't do stand up and it was just both of us working a 9 to 5 and we were just like happy in that.
That's for us. That's such a weird. Yeah, that's a world we can't even imagine.
I can't even imagine it. But like, do you think if we met back when I was 21? Was I 21?
You were 22. It was 2014. It was 2014. Summer 2014.
Okay. I don't know how old I was.
You were 22. Math.
Okay, let's not do this.
You guys.
I can't.
Last episode we talked about how you can't do math sometimes.
I just can't remember. But anyways, I can't remember math. But anyways, yeah. Do you think if we would have met then, like, let's say happenstance, we like
Something
met
happened.
in on Tinder or something.
Yeah.
Do you think that we would have even ended up together? Let's not do that. Let's say if we started dating and we weren't doing stand up, do you think we would have like figured it out and like ended up 9 years later?
Oh, that's
married?
such a, like, what a fun thought experiment. I don't know. Because I feel like
Yeah.
comedy showed us that we both had a similar sense of comedy and like addressing the world with humor.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that.
We have the same coping mechanisms.
Yeah. And I don't know how that's communicated when you're not a stand-up comedian and you're dating somebody.
Yeah, me either.
Like, remember when one of your friends was on Tinder or Bumble, I think, and we were like, let's be funny with this girl who says, like, the only hobby she listed was beekeeping. And so we did all the buzz and bee pickup lines because we're like, that's how I would translate my comedy. And after like 7 jokes, she blocked him. I was like, see, people would have blocked me if they didn't know I was a stand-up comedian or didn't see that side of me.
Yeah. I don't know. But okay, so then that goes into
That's I feel like that's a segment where people are like, what were some of the
but that goes
the pickup
in,
lines?
Yeah, we'll do it.
Bonus episode deleted scene.
But also, what that goes into, so if you were a stand-up comedian
Yeah.
and I wasn't, would I still be dating you? I don't know. I don't think so. I'm
No?
gonna say no.
So, like, do you mean from the jump?
Yeah.
Or, okay, from the jump. So if I was doing stand-up and you weren't,
I don't think I would date you.
why is that?
I think that if I was like really driven to go to medical school, like if I had stayed on the trajectory that I was pre-med, everyone. Oh my God.
Oh my
and
God.
I graduated with my degrees.
How cool.
And now I do this. But if I was like planning to go get my master's and go to medical school, like if I was still on that plan,
Okay.
and I was dating somebody who was like struggling through stand up and was a teacher and then quit his job and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Ugh, I don't think I would be able to ride through it.
Do you think it would be that you wouldn't understand like the sacrifices that are needed to be made, like
Yeah.
time and money?
Yeah. I don't think I'd be able to respect the grind in that sense, because I think in my mind, going through the school process or like working for the state and working your way up and doing all these things, there's a very clear track. There's like a very clear timeline and track and benchmarks. But in stand up, there's none of that.
Yeah.
So like you could be grinding it out for a year and made it, or you could be grinding out for 20 years and it could have a huge payoff, and the payoff is worth it. But for someone who's not in it, I don't think that I would be able to understand. Sure, I would go to your shows. I'd support you. I'd laugh, blah, 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 blah. Right?
Yeah.
But if I was making money and you're like, oh, I need this amount of money to go to a festival that I'm not making any money at, and it's just for networking, I'd be like, you need to get a job.
Yeah. Like when we talk to the comedians who are dating non-comedians, I'm like, yeah, I wonder if that's been an argument.
Right. I don't know. So I would say, no, I wouldn't be with you. I think now if I quit comedy, I would be like, yeah, for sure, I'll stay. Because I understand.
Yeah. Thinking from back then.
What about you?
I disagree with you.
You think
Drama.
you would?
I think
You
that
would, if I was a stand-up comic.
no, I was thinking if I was a stand-up and you weren't. Like, in that situation, I would be fine with that as long as you had something you were doing. Like as long as you're still like driven and doing something,
Okay,
I'm okay with that.
So what if I was a stand-up comic and you were not? You were full, not interested, not into the scene, like a completely normal.
Because there have been times where it's sort of felt that way, because I work the 9-to-5 job, and there's times where I'm not getting booked, so it feels like I'm not a stand-up comedian, and it does definitely make it more difficult, because especially I think what it is watching somebody follow their dream if you're not able to follow yours. Like if I was stuck at a 9-to-5 not pursuing any major dream, I think that would hurt me too much. To be with somebody who I could see that joy, that passion, that
I don't
doing
think
the things I want
everyone
to.
feels that way though. I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like it's. I think we're just different because we like to pursue passion and like we want to be happy in life, and like I mean, I shouldn't have even said that, because if like you're doing a normal job, you're probably very happy. You can be happy doing a normal job. I am not.
Yeah.
I've done the 9 to 5. I've done all the normal jobs, but I am so unhappy, and some people do it and they are. So I just think you and I, like,
we're different.
Yeah. And we understand the struggles when pursuing passion.
Yeah. And I mean, we talk to friends who are pursuing what we think of as like a normal life, like 9 to 5, and they're happy because they're not finding that happiness in their career. They just know it's a vehicle for what they're trying to do.
That's so healthy.
Like, it's like, oh, I work this job that I hate because it lets me support my kids. It lets me travel. It lets me buy and build my dream house, my dream life. Like, for some people, it's like one of my best friends. They love raising animals.
God, now this really brings up the thing of like, what am I doing?
Your dream is to make people happy, and that's what makes you happy. So keep pursuing it.
I find more value in life from like the experiences in life rather than like the things I have to show for it.
For sure.
So like, we have a lot of friends who have bought homes and are making a ton of money, and they're happy, and we are so happy for them.
Yeah.
But could I be that person that's like, I just want to make enough money to like support my family and just work the 9 to 5 and like build a dream home? And I'm like, no, I just can't.
I don't think, and because I didn't grow up with that in my life, like my mom was a stay-at-home mom who basically, it was like child support was her like wage, and she just took care of us. Like, I don't see the 9 to 5 job and a big house as like the goal.
So I did grow up with that.
And you still don't think that's...
No.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's a product of your environment, because my mom was a very hard worker, very ambitious. I mean, my mom is a badass, right?
Yeah.
But she was a teacher, an administrator, and bought a house and still lives in the same house that she bought all those years ago.
Yeah.
And like, she's living that like buy a house, get married, have a child life, and is retired now. I cannot do that.
No.
I cannot live that life. So I don't know. It's just different for me.
It's different.
Would we still be together? I think you and I, yes.
All right. So moving on to comedy related questions. Our first question comes from Tyler Cantu, another comedian.
Yeah.
He asks, how often do you guys talk comedy?
We talk comedy quite a bit, I feel like.
I think more than personal stuff, probably.
Oh, it makes me so mad.
It's like literally a point of contention.
You know what I just realized? I think that's why I want us to do therapy so much, because then it's a carved out time where we have to talk about something else besides comedy.
Yeah. Like if we started talking about comedy, the therapist would be like, excuse me, stop.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
The last couple times that we did couples therapy, I did crack some jokes and made the therapist laugh.
Yeah. And I mean, he knew we were both stand-up comedians, so he was ready for it.
Yeah.
But it's like, they would stop us and be like, hey, sometimes you need to talk about your love and your relationship, not just your passion for comedy. Yeah.
So I say we talk about comedy like 75%, 76.23472% of the time.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, since you can't calculate 7 times 7 sometimes, I wonder how close
7 times 7 is 49.
There we go.
Thank you.
That was a very, very precise... No, she's right.
No, we do, because a time where we talk about comedy a lot is in the car when we are driving to a show. That's like, I feel like that's like an automatic. We're probably going to talk about stand-up to the show on the way back, whether it's a 15-minute drive, 10-minute drive, or a 2 to 4 hour drive.
Yeah,
we're probably talking about stand-up most of the time, most of that drive.
Yeah,
and I think the reason why is because in the car, I mean, we have a lot of time, and I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it's just so easy. Also, if we're going to a show, it's like we're going to be doing comedy, so we're thinking
about our sets.
Yeah,
spitballing ideas like, hey, would this be funny since we're going to this city and the city's known for this? Should I address this?
Yeah. And it's like it's like a work trip to us.
Yeah.
So we're like, we might as well just talk. And talking comedy is fun.
It's so fun.
And also, I don't know if Tyler meant this in the question, but like talking comedy to me also means like talking about the business, talking about other comics, talking about bookers, talking about payment. So like talking
the way you
shit.
said that, I was like,
no,
we
shit.
read between the lines. You're like, talking about bookers, talking about other comedians. It's like, we're little gossips comedians out there. We're talking about,
Yeah, we absolutely are.
We are.
But
in a healthy way where it's like, we're also,
absolutely not healthy for me. I'm just out here talking shit.
Sometimes it's shit. Sometimes it's like positivity. Like, damn, did you see whoever did this? They've been working their butt off for
that. Is so true. Yeah, we do talk about a lot of comics who we're like very excited for.
And like, the comedians, because we're in a good class of comedians right now. And just seeing like all of them on the rise is so cool.
It gives me hope.
Me too.
And it gives me hope because I see good people who put in work and become good comedians and then they get a break. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you, universe, for showing me that like you can put in the work, be a good person, and then have it pay off.
Yeah.
And then you get excited for them.
You do. Because I think like, especially early on, there's way more envy and like anger when people find success. And now like being around people that we know we're working with a lot and working like the same amount and seeing their success, it's like, oh, we know what they've done to get this.
Yeah.
But it's when you are so like detached from all of that, or you haven't put in the work yourself, you don't see like when it's like, oh, well, they just got lucky. Oh, they're just this. Then
you get angry and bitter and jaded.
So quick.
Yeah.
But it's like once you're there and you see like sometimes the hard work doesn't pay off, but sometimes it does. And being a good person pays off more often than not.
You know what I've realized too, speaking of comedy, like talking about comedy, is that now Drew and I will be talking about important things or interesting things for comedy, and we'll go, oh, write it down. We got to talk about it on the podcast.
On the podcast. Literally,
people want to hear about this.
We were driving over to the studio today, and we're like, no, stop talking.
Stop.
Don't get into it. Yeah.
So we talk about comedy a lot. Yeah.
Like,
and what do we talk about besides comedy, I wonder?
I mean, we still talk about like, oh yeah, wow, that's a honest lot. I'm like, what else? What do humans talk about?
I know. What do we talk about? We talk about movies.
We watch a lot of movies, TV shows.
We just got a new dog.
We got a doggo.
So we talk about her.
Talk about working out.
We talk about going to Orange
Goals,
Theory. Yeah.
Travel.
We do talk about travel. We talk about our stresses.
Yeah.
We talk about date nights. I mean, we talk about like what other people would normally talk about, right?
Yeah.
Like how depressed we are.
Yeah. We're okay.
We're fine, We're
fine.
We're good. But we do talk about stand-up a lot though. And I think it's just nice, like, because we both are in it, so then we can both discuss it, and then the other person's interested.
Yeah.
And we can like help each other through it.
I think that's definitely a part of it, because it's like when, I mean, especially for me, I'm such an introvert and like just strange thinker. Like if I'm interested in what somebody's interested in, the conversation's so much better. But like if somebody's like, yeah, so the other day I went skiing. Sorry to skiers out there. I don't get it.
I don't want to be part of that
and
conversation.
And they're using vocab I don't know. They're like, oh, and then it was fresh snow. I'm like, I don't know what this means. And it's hard
like if
for
I
me
start talking about the Real Housewives, you're like, all right, call a friend.
Yeah, let's do an effect.
Can I phone a friend?
As soon as you said Real Housewives, it was just like
glazed over.
Yeah.
Just But when we talk about stand-up, it's something we both are interested in, so we're engaged.
And I think that's normal to be more interested in conversations about things you're interested in.
And it makes us better comics. Yeah.
For sure.
So Tyler.
As far as it, like, do we sit there and write jokes together nonstop? No. We're not. Maybe we should. Like, I know that's like the benefit a lot of people assume we're like always punching each other's sets up and giving each other tags. It's like
we do at shows.
We do at shows, but it's like, off stage, we're not really like having writing sessions, and maybe we should. But we're not.
We don't.
It just feels like too much.
It feels like too much is the perfect way to say it. But when we're at shows, we are all up in each other's grill when it comes to joke writing and tagging, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's why I think when we drive home, especially, it's like game on. We are talking about comedy. But we've also figured out in this relationship and doing comedy for so long and being together for so long that those car rides home, we have to figure out the vibe of the other person.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we leave a show, and it could be me or you, but one person is like, you know what? I don't want to, I just cannot talk about what happened right now.
Yeah.
And I just need a moment, and please don't. I will let you know.
Yep.
Yeah. I will let you know when I can speak about the show, whether it was good or bad. Sometimes I've had a good show and I'm just like, there's nothing to report back on right now, and I don't want to talk about it. I've had bad shows where I'm like, I know what just happened up there.
Yeah.
Give me a minute. And then we can maybe, talk about the process and, take apart what happened. And those conversations make us better comics, I think.
They do. I agree.
But
you need that debriefing afterwards. Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, you do need the debriefing, but sometimes you also need a deep breath.
Yeah.
You just need a deep breath.
Yes.
Yes. But I think we found the balance. And so even if you're not in a relationship with a stand-up comic, I think it's important, if you're like carpooling with comedians or on the road with comics or in a green room with comedians, to read the room and understand who wants to talk about comedy and who doesn't.
Yeah, there's definitely, and I remember when I was young into comedy, like especially working at a comedy club the first few years, like the headliners sometimes are just like, oh, I'm so tired. I've been traveling all day. I don't want to think about comedy. I just want to do my set and be normal.
Yeah, normal on
I would
stage.
be so eager to be like, oh my God, and tell me about, you were on the Tonight Show. Tell me everything about it. And it's like, they don't want to talk about that.
Yeah,
they're about to go on stage and talk about that stuff.
You gotta learn the etiquette around other comics, just like we've learned the etiquette around each other talking comedy. It's like, do we talk comedy a lot? Yes. Is it all the time? No, because you just can't. You have to be normal.
Yeah. And I think another thing is like, especially the few times I've had to produce shows, or if I'm hosting like a showcase with a lot of comedians, it's like, I'm sorry I can't pay attention to you because I'm trying to figure out if the venue needs me for something. Like, as the host, is this person about to get off stage? Like, oh, I just heard an applause break in the middle of their set. Or did they wrap up, or are they just that funny?
That feeling of
the stress of being
a host. We'll have to get into that on another podcast, which I'm so excited to talk about.
Me too.
But the stress of the hosting could be its own episode.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, you're sitting in the green room, you hear an applause break, you're like, oh shit, do I have to go on stage? No, they just got an applause break. Yeah. It's a whole thing.
You're like, you can't be 100% in the conversation if you're hosting a show.
No, I never am.
Even when the headliner's up and it's 10 minutes in, I'm like, who knows if something happened and they're running off
done.
stage, they're done, they got pissed off and they're done, or they have to pee and they're done. Like, it's stressful. We'll get into it on
Oh my
episode.
God, you just made me think of so many stories. We'll get into it.
We'll do an entire hosting episode.
We have to do an episode of you and I talking about hosting, but also do it with a few guests.
I think
because
so.
it's too good of a topic. And it's a different beast. Hosting is a different beast than stand-up.
So different.
And people don't know that.
And I want to see if it's the same perspective for everybody, or if other people are completely different. They're like, oh, it's my favorite. It's like,
I have never talked to a comic who loves hosting.
Yeah, no, that's why. Yeah.
And if they do, they probably don't like stand-up.
Okay, our next question comes from Ray Dean, another local comic here in Sacramento, one of the good local up-and-comers. She asks, what's a joke you want your partner to bring out of retirement?
This is a fun question, I think. I really like it.
It's interesting. So you can go first.
Okay.
If you have one.
I do have one.
Okay.
I don't remember if you used to tell it or if you told me you used to tell it or you were just thinking of writing it.
Okay.
But...
which is a whole thing in itself. There's like jokes we like discuss
and
in
then
the car
never say
on stage, but it's like we keep coming back to it, but it's just never.
So I can't remember in what context this was said, but I know that this is something.
Okay, I'm ready.
You're like really geared up for this.
I'm so geared up for it. Yeah.
Okay. I think that you should bring the joke about this is going to sound so morbid out of context.
Wow.
But the joke about your brother dying while watching
The Book of Eli?
Yes. Okay, but let me explain it because I love this premise. Okay. So Drew's brother unfortunately passed away many years ago. And Drew and his brother were watching The Book of Eli.
Yeah, we'd just be watching movies and stuff. He was in hospice. We knew he was going. So it was just, we were watching TV together. And I was at his bedside. And The Book of Eli was on.
So The Book of Eli was on as Kyle passed.
Yes.
And Drew... and this is a very sad thing, but tragedy plus time equals comedy. That is literally the formula for comedy.
Yeah.
This is a tragedy. But Drew has this amazing perspective on it where he's like, thank God we were watching a terrible movie.
Yeah.
My brother was so sweet of a guy that he was like,
I don't want to ruin a good movie.
He's like, I don't want to ruin Drew's favorite movie for getting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm going to ruin this terrible movie that no one wants to watch anyway.
Yep.
And then I'm going to go ahead and head out of this planet while we're watching Book of Eli so that Drew doesn't have to like struggle and
not get triggered
get triggered and not have like this conflicting like moral dilemma of like, do I still enjoy the movie but my brother died? So it's like, I think it's such a good bit. It's so deep, it's so dark, and it's so like there's just so much there to pull out of that, and your perspective coming out of that tragedy is very uplifting and very funny.
Okay.
I want it to come back.
It's so funny you say that, because last night at the show I was thinking about that joke and
really?
Like, how do I build around it? How do I, like, obviously it's like a story. It's like, what's the beginning? What do they need to know about me and Kyle, my brother, to get why this is funny? What's the story, and then what's the takeaway at the end? And it's like, if I get all three pieces, then it's a complete thing that people will be able to enjoy. But when it's just bits and pieces, it's like, oh, that's sad, his brother died. But if there's the whole setup of it's okay now,
you have to figure out a way to say the joke. Like, you have to figure out a way to explain the joke that makes people feel okay laughing at it, because doing something about a dead brother is tough.
So hard.
But if you find there is a way to do it, I mean, once you figure it out, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be like the Patton Oswalt, like wife
Annihilation
passing
special.
Like, it is so good.
Like,
and
25 minutes just all about it. And it's like, we listened to another great podcast, Let's Talk About Sets.
Yeah,
and
such a good one.
They go into it that it's like everybody knows his wife died, so it's like on their minds, and has enough trust, the people are there to see him, so that's why. But it's like, versus me, if I just show up at a bar show and you don't know who I am, and I'm just like, weird. My brother died watching Book of Eli, it's like, what is going on?
But I think that's the thing, is that you need to figure out how to earn their trust in your set. I mean, because now we're doing sets that are typically 20 to 40 minutes.
I'm going to try it at the show I'm doing tonight. So obviously you're listening, you won't get to see the show. It won't be out in time, but I'm doing a show where I'm doing a longer set, and I'm going to try it tonight.
I think you should.
I think the crowds that have been there in the past have been very supportive, and I think that it's one that's receptive to a story. So I'm going to try it tonight.
Oh my God. Yes. Yeah. I'm so excited.
It's like, because I'll do it for like a month and it just doesn't, I haven't found all the right notes and whatever on it.
Do you think part of the reason that you're not doing it as much is it's just too difficult to write? Is it too difficult to write because you're not figuring out how to make people feel safe?
Yeah, that's the biggest issue.
Or is it too difficult to talk about?
No, it's not too difficult to talk about, I don't think.
Okay.
I think it's, finding the way that the crowd feels like it's okay.
Yeah.
And I just haven't found the right recipe yet. And it's like, we've been talking more and more. It's like, build more. And then it also, it has such a like great tie-in to my current closer, where I can make my closer so much bigger.
What's your closer now?
My closer right now is the family that insulted me when I was a waiter. And
it's really good. Yeah.
I want to end it with, I never saw them again.
Yeah.
But the truth is, I saw them when, like, the last time my brother got to leave the house, we went to Walmart together to get some stuff.
Yes.
And they were there. And I'm like, it's a whole thing.
I just think the whole thing with your brother is so true to who you are. And it's such an amazing story. And it's like kind of how you started stand up. And your brother was such a good person. And I'm so sad I never got to meet him. But like, it's just so cool. And not cool that he died. It's so cool that it's so... all done. Drew's putting down his mic.
Take the mic off.
He is done. He's walking out.
Let's stop recording. It's Netflix documentary.
I mean, like, it's so...
Unclipping.
No, I mean, like, it's so cool that you've come out of that loss and you continue to be optimistic and joyful and working hard, and like you take the experience of that loss and you've like come out on the other side like still a good person and not like dark and jaded.
Well, thank you.
In a
Yeah.
You're a human, but
We're all
like,
human, yeah.
yeah. But like, you know what I mean? So I
get what
think
you're saying,
that
yeah.
that would be a good story. I think it's interesting. And I think that a lot of people would relate to it. And the people who don't, I think would open their eyes and be like, oh, okay, you know, maybe I can handle things that come up or, you know, whatever.
Okay.
So,
I like that.
all right,
Thank
what's
you.
mine? What's mine?
All right. So it's really hard to think of this because like the jokes I thought of first are great jokes. But the problem is in comedy, we evolve.
Yeah.
And I feel like both jokes I thought of are jokes that just don't fit into your set.
Okay,
right way.
say the two jokes and then maybe think of a different one that you would actually want me to bring out of retirement.
Yeah, no, the two jokes. So joke number one was when you first started, you had a joke about homeless people, like women versus men being homeless.
Oh, yeah.
And like food, and your whole bit was like basically like the sign for women, what was it? Should just say tampons.
So yeah, so I was saying, I think I just watched this clip like a month ago, and I was literally it was probably like the first few months I did stand up. So this was literally 9 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think it had something to do with like, if I was I think homeless signs are very interesting, but I think they should be more honest. Mm-hmm. So for me, if I was and I don't know if this is PC anymore to even talk about it, but I said if I was,
because you're not insulting them.
I'm not insulting. I just think the sign should be more honest. If I was homeless, I would have a sign that says tampons, because I can reach into a trash can and eat leftover food, but I can't reach into a trash can and use tampon.
And that's when we're like, even if you just stop, I can't reach into a trash can.
I did stop. Yeah. So
let
the
them
clip
fill it in, and it's so funny.
Yeah. So in the clip, what I would do on stage is I would go, but I could reach into a trash can and eat leftover food, but I can't reach into a trash can. And I would pretend to reach into a trash can, and then I would pause and let the audience finish the sentence.
Yeah.
And they would laugh. And then I would say, and if I was a guy, if I was a guy, I would be more honest with my sign. And instead of having it say like money for food, it would say, hey babe, I'm so sorry. You looked really good in that dress. I shouldn't have said that you look fat. And honestly, I love all of your friends and your hair looks great. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that you got a haircut. And you know what? I will buy you that diamond necklace, and I will take you on that vacation, and you deserve more. Can I please come back in the house?
That's funny. So like that joke is funny. But it was like, it was just one where like now you're being honest with like your life story. You're not really diving in as much on like these strange hypotheticals that aren't tied into any reality. Like,
right.
So that's why it's hard. And then the other joke, although I see some ways it could be woven into your set, but you had a joke about your mom telling you that your downstairs area, your private parts were top shelf
I love
quality.
how you can't say it.
I can't.
Oh
I can't.
my God. Okay. What is it?
I am literally Jack McBrayer from.
Jesus.
You
are a 32-year-old adult man. Okay.
I just
save vagina.
Vagina.
Wow.
that felt like a trap. Like a trap. I feel like you had the joke that your mom raised you saying you know what is top shelf quality, and then you would respond, what if it's top shelf quality but it's on sale?
Yeah.
And then you do some tags like that. I thought it was...
I still do that one every once in a while.
Every once in a while. It feels like one of those jokes when it's like a crowd that lets you just say jokes that maybe aren't connected to the main thesis of your set.
Right.
Like now, I think both of us are starting to build like a set that is like 3 points about our personality, and here are the jokes that exemplify those ideas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's hard, like, I think that could almost be woven in. You're doing a bit now about how, like, when you were a kid, they raised you, like, girls, your stuff is top shelf
you know
quality.
what?
You got to protect it.
I've used some of those tags
Yeah.
in a new joke.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of comedy is, like, you tear jokes apart and add them into and sew them in somewhere else, like Frankenstein.
Yeah, like, bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Is there a joke, though, that you're like, you should bring this out of retirement? This is a good like something I maybe started and never finished, like your joke that I said for you? You can't think of one?
I can't think of one. Yeah,
that's where we pause.
Yeah, that's an awkward pause.
Because I can't think of any for myself.
It's like because you try bits, but like your thing is like it's almost feast or famine with you. Like I'm very like I can get a B plus out of almost anything I start to finesse and work through, versus you get A pluses, or it just never becomes cohesive. Yeah. And you desert it. So it's like your jokes that you have in your set are all A plus. Mine, maybe I have a more broad variety of jokes, but they're B plus. Pocketed punchlines.
All right, let's do it. Let's do pocketed punchlines.
All right, let's find some pocketed punchlines.
Okay, so pocketed punchlines. If this is the first time you're ever listening, first off, get on it. Why haven't you been listening to our podcast?
We've referenced so many things from past episodes that you're like, what?
Pocketed punchlines just is about comics. We write for years and years and years, or just months. We put jokes in our notebooks, in our notes, in our phone, and then they just disappear, and we just forget about them, and we abandon them. So we're going to do pocketed punchlines, and dig deep in our pockets and find something, and have some fun and read it. See if you can finish it, or just what your thought process was. So go. You want to go first?
I have one. Yeah, I found one. So yeah, you can keep looking.
I found one.
Yeah, mine, because in comedy, the way to separate yourself from like most people starting out is have a strong opinion on something.
Okay.
Like the audience is going to emote with you and go with you on that, and it could be unique. So like everybody has an online dating joke.
Yes.
But like not everybody has a strong opinion about the color of the walls at a hospital. Like people have weird views. So like,
okay,
I don't know what
Where is this going?
So for me, I have a very, I don't want to say it's controversial, unless that gets us more listeners.
Say it's controversial.
This is a controversial opinion. I love the DMV. I know, like every butt of every joke is like, the DMV sucks, they're slow, blah, 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 blah. I freaking love the DMV. Like, I hate making an appointment and having a set time to go there, because I love the DMV because organized lines. You show up, they have you funneled through perfectly. They give you a number, and it's like certain areas you go to. Like, it's all very organized, thought out, maybe slow. Who cares? I'm just happy that it's organized, and somebody's like, you go here, you go here. Like, oh, you're waiting to get your picture taken, go here. You're waiting to renew your license, go here.
You love the organization.
I love the organization so much.
Load.
This is the part that I think is like the funniest part is, you're a hero for going to the DMV and doing nothing. Like if I told you right now, like, oh yeah, yesterday I just sat around doing nothing for 4 hours, you'd be like, oh, you're like lazy. You're a slob.
What'd you do? Or I'd be like, are you okay?
Yeah, are you okay?
Yeah.
But if I'm like, I went to the DMV yesterday, and you're like, oh my God, like you had to wait so long. I'm so sorry. Oh no. And it's like, I'm doing nothing.
Would you go to the DMV for 4 hours and do nothing?
I mean, I bring music, I bring a book. Like, it's like, but same thing. Like,
you would do self-care at the DMV.
Self-care at the DMV. Like, you earn everybody's sympathy. So maybe not a hero, but like nobody's like, you're lazy. It's like, oh, you had to go and sit for 4 hours.
No, it's okay. You missed the deadline.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's like,
we understand.
Nobody judges you. And then the last part of it was just like, it reminds me of my childhood because
it's so sad.
Yeah. My mom, I was raised on food stamps before it was the EBT card. So we would wait in line at the Social Security office or whatever it was. I don't know. I was 6. Like, I don't know.
You're like, just get me that candy, Mom.
Yeah. And so we would wait in line for hours. And it's like, okay, this is just how things work. Like,
so lines are nostalgic.
Lines are nostalgic. Sitting there doing nothing and trying to find ways to like self-soothe. Like my mom, like we didn't have video games. We didn't have Game Boys. Like we weren't those kids who like, here's your tablet, just shut up. It was like, just find a way to shut the hell up.
I mean, those things didn't exist.
Yeah. I mean, they started to towards the end, but...
Tablets?
I mean, more like Game Boys and portable Sega and all those things. Like, there were kids who had those at the DMV and, like, at the food stamps, but, like, not me. So it was, like, a way for me to learn to just...
kids waiting in line, or not kids, but families waiting in line for food stamps could afford to have Game Boys?
Some.
Interesting.
I'm thinking more like the DMV on that one, because like the food stamps was like only until I was like 7 or 8 when my mom married somebody who had enough money that we stopped getting food stamps.
Okay.
But the DMV, I mean, she drove pieces of junk, so we were always getting it smogged or like taking care of other things. So it's like, I remember a lot of kids with like stuff to do, and me, it was just like a book or just sitting with my thoughts.
Ew.
And like, that's fun for me. So yeah, my controversial opinions, the DMV, and I need to work on it because it's not a good joke yet. But
Right.
I want it to be good. I really do, because it could be fun that like everybody always shits on the DMV.
I think it's a good idea. You should definitely try it.
And I think like Shane Torres did his whole thing about Guy Fieri being cool. And like it was the reason that he blew up and got well known, got his late night set.
Like that episode of Let's Talk About Sets, that other podcast that breaks down the art and writing of comedy, which I don't think they do anymore. I think they're done.
No, yeah, I haven't seen the
which
new
is too
episode.
bad because it's a great podcast, but they still have all their episodes up, so go listen to it.
Yeah.
But they talk about essay form writing, and I feel like that would be a really good one to like essay form write. Like make your thesis, argue against it, and disprove the argument against it.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. And it's something that is very relatable and like everyone understands. Like everyone knows the DMV.
It's authentic to me, and everybody's experienced it, and they're like, "Oh, I guess that is a good way to look at it." Like, yeah, nobody's
and they'll be
judging
like,
me.
This poor boy, why is he
so
love
sad?
The DMV?
He loves being bored because that was his childhood.
It actually that explains like a lot about you. I feel like
That's why I think it's perfect for a podcast. Like, it's not as punched up yet, but like people listening are like, "Oh, that."
Explains a lot about who you are. See, these are the jokes that I like when you write about like your brother and like the DMV and all
growing up poor,
like, but it describes like who you are as Drew. So you're not just some straight white man on stage with a microphone.
Yeah. How about you? What's yours? Let's hear yours.
This was written March 31st, 2016 at 7:15 p.m.
Okay.
I love how I have these time stamped.
Yeah.
This is all it says. I'm just going to read what it says.
Okay.
Netflix style sex. $8 a month. Unlimited sex. That's it. That's all I wrote.
Do you know if this was like for prostitutes, like a prostitute named Netflix, or like what's this model? $8 as well? That doesn't sound.
That's how much Netflix used to be. $8 a month.
I know. I'm not questioning. That doesn't seem like how much Netflix charged. Sex.
In
$8
2016,
a month?
Netflix was $8. Just kidding.
Do you guys hear this? I just want my face. This reaction. I'm like, yeah, $8. She's like, yeah, that's how much Netflix is.
Yeah.
That's not what I was questioning. Like that's.
So I think the point of it was that to make like I don't even know. Okay, let me just say my thoughts. Aurora, say your thoughts. Okay, so I think what the point of it was that I was trying to say there should be a Netflix style sex program. So like we should modernize prostitution.
Okay.
And
the oldest profession needs a little revamp, of course.
Like sex workers.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Need a revamp, and I think we should modernize it.
Okay. And
we should make it like a like you pay to get Pornhub and all, you like pay to have, you know, what's it called? OnlyFans. You pay to be a member, right? Okay. Instead, well, in addition to, for sex workers, there could be an app that you pay a subscription to.
Oh my God.
And then you get, based on your subscription, well, I guess Netflix is open to all, right?
Yeah.
So maybe like a Hulu, maybe now it'd be more Hulu, right? And you pay, and the more you pay, you get different perks of sex workers.
Okay.
And then obviously $8 a month is kind of
low tier, lowest tier.
Low tier.
That's a one user plan.
I mean, this was written in 2016, right? So that was how many years ago? 7 years ago?
7 years ago. We're just gonna
Okay. We'll do a whole thing on Aurora's math. Okay. Yep. So 7 years ago, right? $8. So now it'd be, how much is Netflix now?
Oof, like almost 20.
Almost 20.
I think.
And
like
how much is Hulu?
Like 10, I think. I don't know. We have like the full package, Disney Plus, Hulu package, whatever. And I think
it's all together.
Yeah, I think it's like,
which I still don't get. We still don't get like the best Hulu, but
yeah. No.
So yeah, you would pay the
subscription. Yeah, we're doing
price.
Okay. We're not Hulu Plus with the live TV.
So for this, you would have. But I'm trying to think of what the app would be called. It would be called Sex Trade. That's wrong.
That's
no.
That's the whole.
That's
thing.
not. That's a bad thing. Okay, so this would be
Sexflix.
Sexflix.
Or yeah.
So, or Hulu in the Poochoo or something, you know? So porn Lou. But anyways, sex flicks is great. Let's go with sex flicks and not what I said. But yeah, so you would pay a subscription and then you would go, I don't know why I thought this would be a joke. This just is a business pitch at this point.
Yeah, that's why you stopped doing it and never went.
Oh no, I never did it. I never said it on stage.
If I say this on stage, they are going to steal this idea and actually do it.
Well, now it's on a way to drop the mic in your face. I love that.
Drop the mic.
Drop the mic drop. But yeah, that was my pocketed punchline, and it's so bad. And I never said it on stage, and I probably never will.
Yeah, that's why I'm like the DMV. Not yet. No, never.
The DMV one's good.
Okay.
This Netflix thing is just cheesy. Like you said, we've evolved, and I've evolved, and I don't really do jokes like that.
It's one where like when you first said it, I was also confused because you're like Netflix sex. I was like short, and it cuts to the next scene.
What do you mean?
Like PG-13 movies, it's always like, that's why I grew up that way. Like, I'm going to justify it. When I thought sex was like a couple seconds of making out and then it's the next morning.
Wait, that's what, I'm sorry, what?
I thought
that's what you thought sex was?
Yeah, because when you watch PG-13 movies, it's like.
So what did you think sex was? You thought it was just making out and then you wake up?
Yeah.
So what did you think happened in between? You thought you would make out and then you blacked out and then woke up in the morning?
I just thought it was like done so quick that like, I thought it was just like the.
Oh,
sometimes
that's why
you see
you're
the shadows.
so quick in bed.
That's why I'm so quick in bed. You got it. It's unfair.
Oh my God. That's hilarious. That's very sad that you thought that as a child. And I will never bring this Netflix thing to stage. And if anyone does want to invest in this idea, please contact me.
Yeah. She wants the business opportunity, but not the joke. So
I'm a hustler, baby.
So this was pretty fun. This was cool. Like answering the questions that have been popping up in our DMs.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
One of our lights just died.
Okay. We still look good.
That still looks great. Yeah. Whatever.
Still looks great.
All right. So yeah, I think.
Okay, so we had too much fun with this episode. We went a little long, which is perfect. You guys got more to enjoy.
Yeah.
We loved doing this audience question, grab bag, whatever you want to call it.
Like, yeah, we'll do more because we have a lot of unanswered questions.
So many.
I hope that we're answering them okay. I hope that you guys are liking
I hope that's the direction you guys were hoping we'd go, or maybe even
if not, let us know.
Yeah. But if you have questions,
I know TikTok will let us know.
Oh, TikTok always lets us know.
TikTok will let us know.
Yeah. If you have questions, please send them in. Whether it's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever, hit us up.
DM, PM, hit us up.
Yeah, and we'll keep answering. We'll do more episodes like this because, some, like we said, these questions, some of them don't fit in with a certain topic. So it's like, this is sort of the random, let's talk about them.
We'll ask some guests these questions too,
for sure.
They're good.
For sure.
So thank you guys so much for listening today. Please subscribe, share, follow, comment, and thumbs up this episode. And if you can, rate this podcast or episode on any platform that you can rate it on, because it helps us out so much. Please follow us at The Love and Comedy Podcast. One more time, it's The Love and Comedy Podcast. We're on TikTok and Instagram right now. So we'll post clips and also updates on episodes and themes and topics. And like Drew said, we'll post on our story questions and we want to hear from you guys. Yep. Also, follow us. My name is Aurora Singh, and you can follow me on all the socials at Aurora Singh Comedy.
And I'm Drew Shafer, Shafer. And you can find me on everything at Drew Shafer Comedy.
All right, that's it.
Thanks so much for listening, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.